Coming up on the Oh You Didn't Know Wrestling show, Monday Night Raw was one of the better ones in recent memory, if that is that hard to do. Brad is on vacation, thank God, and Dean is somewhere in the pancake trails of the Appalachia trying to secure himself a new pancake recipe. Can he find it? More answers and results coming up next. And welcome everyone. I am riding solo, as one former would say here. You didn't know wrestling show. 31. I am John Fisher, steering the boat to mediocrity. That's what I like to call it, because we are only as good as the product is, and let's just say they don't give us a lot to work with. You can follow us at the Brad Shepard for Brad, who, like I said in the intro, was on vacation. You can follow Dean, who's on his quest for more pancake power at I am Dean16, and you can follow me at John Fisher TV on Twitter. And we're on multiple platforms, not quite 4,000, but we're getting there. Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Spotify and iTunes are the big ones. You can follow us there. You didn't know wrestling show. Rate, review, subscribe to all of our channels. I don't care if you have to do it on multiple devices. As Nike says, just do it, please. So this will be a bit of a different show for all of you. I am in my kitchen on my laptop, talking at the wall. And I got to say, it's quite entertaining, more entertaining than the World Wrestling Entertainment product as of late. But so I'm doing this before SmackDown because heck SmackDown, and I don't feel like recording at 10 at night on Tuesday. So it's Tuesday afternoon, and I felt like I should do a show since Brad can't. Since when I won't be there next week. I haven't told Brad that yet. But when I'm not here, Brad decides to do a show solo, and well, I might fall asleep during it. I'm sure a lot of you love the solo podcast. It brings you something different to the table each time. So we'll kind of do it in like a radio show format. Just gonna go over what happened on Monday Night Raw, give some thoughts, some analysis, and since I feel like it would be cheating on Brad if I were to go look at some rumor mill garbage train information, but maybe we'll take a look at Brad's Twitter to see what he has at the end of the show. So Monday Night Raw took place, if I'm not mistaken, at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, as Becky Lynch properly. And what I don't. By the way, I know she's dating Seth now, and she might be a big deal, and her YouTube hits might be getting a lot less fruitful. And the ratings while she was on television tanked. But that doesn't mean she can't pronounce things properly. Irish accent or not, it's Los Angeles. Don't think you're better than everyone else. So we're going to start off the show. Seth Rollins came out, creator wrestler number one, as we like to call him here on the program, came out pissed off, talking smack to Baron Corbin, Brock Lesnar, everyone that he has a chance to put a chair through his back to. Frustrated as all can be, Baron Corbin comes out after Elias technically still, like, I think Seth really started the show. Elias had about a minute and a half of airtime. It's purely insignificant. So when Seth nailed him with a chair, and then Baron Corbin came out and said that he'd meet a similar fate to Elias coming from Seth Rollins. And that was about it. The crowd actually was kind of hot for Seth Rollins. Los Angeles is a big wrestling market, so I'm not surprised. They were quite active throughout the entire show, so it's kind of I was glad to see that. It's nice when the crowd interacts, because if it's the show can only be so good if the crowd is a wet fart in the audience, which, unless we're in a Chicago, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New York, or LA market, that's kind of what we've been getting recently. So it's nice for LA to kind of keep up the pace for the audience, as it were. A lot of people really liked the opening segment. I'm not a fan of Seth as champion. I think he's boring as a babyface. I love him as a heel, and he should get back on that. I'm not sure why they're waiting to turn Seth heel again. I feel like, especially turning on his wife, well, girlfriend, they're not even engaged. She don't move as fast as Charlotte in many ways than one. Two I can think of off the top of my head. Personally, I wish they would turn him heel on her, they obviously wouldn't wrestle, but at least give him something to do. When he was with J&J Security and I forget the faction with Triple H and Steph and Randy Orton, the Authority. It got stale near the end, but when it was in its prime, man, Seth was on top of his game. So I really wish that they would go back to that. Rollins just he can't cut a good babyface promo. Screaming doesn't mean it's good. Screaming just means he has or is trying to portray how you put it aggression, which is fine. We need aggression. We always do, and I think it's good to do so. But this something flat about Seth. Yeah, he has a chair, kind of akin to Triple H's hammer. On to the next one, the 5-way for the United States Championship #1 contender spot. This match was good. I really liked it. So here are a few bits of information that I hope you all picked up at home. I don't understand if they have like a nice elimination match. We all love elimination matches. They provide excitement, and anything could happen because we really don't know. And we know the winner most of the time in elimination matches, but it's getting there that's the fun part. They blew their load way too early with multiple pins in like the first 3 minutes. They got to stretch it out. Give it 25, 30 minutes. If it's an elimination match, let it breathe, because then we're like, oh, well, that didn't take very long for so-and-so to pin so-and-so. So I feel like they rushed through it. It didn't give me a good grasp on the story they were trying to tell. Well, shit, they don't tell stories in the ring anyway, so why am I trying? Nevertheless, Strowman eliminated Lashley and Cesaro very, very early. Miz and Ricochet were taken out to kind of give Braun his time in the sun. And what happened with Braun Strowman getting pinned, so he was a freight train in the first 3 minutes. And then the two people he pinned came back out to help Braun get pinned, which I thought was stupid. Why does that have to happen? To take Braun, all 4 of them should have pinned Braun in the very beginning. You keep him strong, and we move on. As we moved on in the match, The Miz and Ricochet ended up being the final 2, while The Miz is continuing his very impressive losing streak at God knows how many. Ricochet hits the 630 and secures the victory. It'll be Ricochet and Samoa Joe. I think it's at Stomping Grounds. I'm not entirely sure. I honestly don't want to watch the pay-per-view. So, hopefully my recall of facts is not lacking. Ricochet and Samoa Joe for Stomping Grounds. Then we move on. I think it was at the end of this match where we had and someone can correct me on Twitter if I'm wrong, at John Fisher TV, when we saw R-Truth and Carmella dressed up in what looked like a Revolutionary War attire ringside. Then it was a fun little moment. You had everyone with a ref come out. R-Truth tries to go under the ring. They pull out Titus O'Neil. I guess he's been stuck there since Saudi Arabia. I don't know he pissed off any officials that poorly. But perhaps it's still the joke that he slid under the ring. Haha, that was 2 years ago. Let's move on. R-Truth and Carmella split ski all the way out of the arena. It was fun. It was quick, and I liked it. Not much else to it. I felt like it did its job, and they're continuing to be creative, and I hope whoever is producing these stays and continues to produce these, because they are doing quite a good job with them. A lot of the time, I can actually tell you right now, if you stand by, the amount of YouTube views that the 24/7 title is getting is pretty astronomical. Much more than almost any. So normally we like to look at these at night. So forgive me if some of these results, or I'm sorry, some of these amount of YouTube views are not final. So taking a look at all of them, Roman Reigns storming into Shane's VIP room had 2.9 million. That is above and beyond the best right now. And we always know, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, aggressive Roman is best Roman. Not trying to cut promo Roman. We don't like that guy. So this is doing pretty well. R-Truth and Carmella doing their disguises was 799,000. And just looking through some more, Seth and Daniel Bryan got almost $1 million. They're 800,000. While the Funhouse is a $500,000. Drew helping out Shane is $500,000. So you kind of see where even R-Truth during a commercial break got almost 400,000 YouTube views. While this will piss some people off. Let's find it. The Becky and Lacey Evans encounter doesn't even have 450,000. But Drew McIntyre beating up Heath Slater has more. Goes to show what people like this day and age. So Becky and Lacey. First off, Lacey Evans is the best promo in the company as a female. Not even close. No one else is as good. Sasha Banks gets tripped up on her words. Bayley has no charisma, especially holding a microphone. Becky's good, but she has fallen off since becoming the badass who just likes to fight. Now she tries to be cute, a.k.a. pronouncing Los Angeles wrong. Get it right. Lacey has the timing down, and it's very, very rare for someone who has not done that much in the wrestling industry to have that kind of timing. She is a pro. She understands the game, and she knows how to talk and make people listen. And there was a time where she was about to go into this big diatribe of her life story as a U.S. Marine, and we're in her background. Normally, people, if you're a heel, they're like, "Oh, we don't care," and we'll continue to boo until they stop. They stopped chanting or booing her just to listen to what she had to say. And she's only been on the main roster for maybe a few months. So that is important. And I hope the fans catch on. Lacey is a star, bar none. She outshined Becky here. Sure, Becky got the last laugh when she hit the Bexploder, or whatever the hell she's calling it now. It's basically a T-bone suplex. So she hits the suplex and gets and stands up, takes Lacey's hat. But Lacey understood her role and did it very, very well. She should win the title on Sunday. If not, she won't win it for quite a while. So, Daniel Bryan cut a quick promo insulting all the Los Angeles fans. Bryan's promos are always good. Rowan sat there and stared, as he does best. And then the War Raiders, Freudian slip. The Viking Raiders came out. 2 local jobbers, 1 in 30 seconds. Boom, done. Enhancement talent. End of story. And since we haven't seen the Viking Raiders in a month, most of the people forgot. And that's what happens when you're called up. You're made a big deal. You drop your NXT tag team titles and move on. Goes to show Vince does not care about NXT. And if you didn't know that already, well, there is some more proof. The Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn show. Brad is not the biggest fan of Kevin Owens nor Sami Zayn, but I am. I think they're both entertaining. They can talk on the mic. Baron Corbin came out, and the 3 of them were very comfortable with each other. I was extremely surprised at how good this segment was. Talking about how Baron Corbin's going to announce who the special guest referee is, saying how Sami and Kevin are not throwing in their hat into the ring as far as who the referee is going to be. So Baron announces it, and it's EC3 to a 0 reaction. I'm not surprised, nor should you. The guy was buried upon arrival. And that is all EC3 should have expected. There's actually a funny GIF on Twitter. I forget who tweeted it, but it is a side-by-side of EC3's debut in NXT to his, I think it was a match that he had on Main Event about a month ago. And the level of fucks given is beyond compare. You have to look this up. Anyway, so he's brought up by Baron Corbin as a special guest referee. Right before he can come out to the ring in his ref shirt, Seth Rollins attacks him and leaves. So Baron's pissed. Kevin and Sami don't know what they're doing. They're flipping out. And then the New Day come out. Another wild card. That makes about 7 wild cards so far, much less 3. They have a good back and forth. Xavier's very good on the mic. Kofi is still boring as champion. I'd like for that to be done soon. Kind of promoting their match for Stomping Grounds, that being Dolph and Kofi. And this led to a tag team match playa in which the New Day came out victorious. And again, I really want to see more of Baron Corbin Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. They're three good heels. They're actually the three best heels in the company right now. They mesh well. They have a lot of chemistry there. They can bounce off one another. I haven't seen Baron Corbin be natural yet until last night on Raw. That was his first natural promo that he has ever cut, in my opinion. Not trying to be a bad guy, not forcing the issue. He did very well, and I applaud him. I also got his card in WWE Supercard the other day, so I'm quite excited about that. Baron's learning the craft. He is improving mightily week after week. He and Lacey, well, talking about someone who has improved. Lacey Evans' debut from start to now is immaculate. Baron is right up there. And if he continues to be natural on the mic, he will continue to be either respected or well liked by a lot of the fans out there. Let's just hope that continues. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman returned after a little bit of a hiatus. The last time we saw him was at Blood Money in the Bank, aka the Super Letdown. And we saw him just cut a brief promo saying that anytime that Rollins is around, he's vulnerable, and that the Architect is there, but no one knows if Brock's there. So it's a bait and switch with the booking right now. Brock was going to cash in 2 Mondays ago. He said, no, let's do it on Friday at Super Showdown. He goes to Super Showdown, and he doesn't cash in there. So we're going to get, we'll probably get teased a couple of more times until we finally get that moment where Brock does cash in. I'm not convinced that Brock will win. Maybe Brock can reach out to some people next week to see if that's true. That's not what I think is going to happen. I think Brock's going to fail at cashing in or do it in a match and not succeed. So Paul cut a quick promo. It was fine. Just Brock's boring right now. He's not there. He's not doing anything. I would like to see Brock actually show up and either lose the title, keep it. I wasn't a fan of him winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. Sure, it was a surprise, and no one saw it coming. But I wish he would have cashed it in by now. I'm tired of it. Let's do something else. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are back after rumors of their contracts being up soon and them not renewing, swirling around the interweb. Face the Usos in tag team action. They lost to the Usos. The Usos pinned the Gallows and Anderson. And after the fact, and this is maybe one of the more interesting portions of the show. So we have the WWE going to Japan quite soon. And on that show, it'll be Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and Triple H. They're in a 4-way tag, and I'm sorry, 5-way tag. AJ Styles. So basically the Bullet Club minus Finn Balor and Triple H. Because Triple H, he's got to work the marks in Japan, baby. NXT Japan is all of the rage. Maybe this was setting it up. So AJ is pissed off that Anderson and Gallows lost. So he's giving them shit in the back in a pretty cool segment. It didn't last very long. Short, simple, to the point. Maybe we'll see a partnership moving forward for these three. I hope so. While Styles was battling John Cena, we got to see these be a trio, and it was quite fun, especially as heels. We haven't seen them be baby faces yet. So let's find out where we can go from here. Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns had a couple of segments this evening, if I'm not mistaken. So one of them, he came out to cut a promo saying that he's frustrated that he lost to Shane McMahon at Super Showdown. Shane's undefeated. No one can stop him. So as he was cutting his promo, McMahon appeared from a room backstage, his VIP room, and told Roman that there's no shame in losing to him. And then Drew McIntyre, after beating up his former 3-man band brother, cut a promo as well, talking some smack against Roman. And then they brought up Roman's family, which, oh dear God, we can't talk about family, yada yada yada. You know, that gets under my skin. Roman goes back, and as I already mentioned, the top YouTube video of Raw so far is Roman putting Shane through a table in his VIP office. it is what it is with this. So Roman tries hard. He isn't given the best material. I don't know if he's good enough to cut his promo yet, kind of like a Cena could. But he has his moments where he is quite entertaining. They just gotta let him be him, and I think all will be good. But until then, I think he'll struggle. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the fear that I have. He needs to be himself and just turn it up a notch. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss versus the Iconics. The Iconics, as Brad pointed out on Twitter, very sad way to draw some cheap heat. They mocked the city for the Lakers acquiring Anthony Davis from the New Orleans Pelicans in the NBA. I get it. You want to, as a heel, you want to kind of like intertwine real life and to try to get some heat. But a little more creativity would have been appreciated because I don't know why it's a bad thing that they got the best center in the NBA. I don't think Vince knows a lot about, or nor the writers know a lot about basketball or professional sports for that matter. So I'll let that go. However, Iconics defeated Bliss and Cross, while Alexa is somewhat leaning towards a babyface right now. If she ends up winning the title, I think, and then there goes my Alexa. Shut the heck up. If Bliss ends up winning the belt and Nikki Cross feuding with her, I think that could be a good heel babyface rivalry that they could come up with, especially for the pseudo partnership that Nikki Cross and Alexa have. Oh, son of a bitch! Oh nope, she turned off. Between Bliss and Nikki, I like the partnership they're building there. They're intertwining some more story into the matches, and that's what we've been talking about for years. If they can just do that, and I think people would be a lot more interested to turn on Raw, because it's not as if we don't like the athleticism. That's great, but it gets fucking boring a lot. Wrestling sucks altogether, but when it's good, it's phenomenal, right? And I'm hoping that they learn from their own mistakes in the past few years. And maybe I don't care if it's a women's or cruiserweight, or I don't care. They need to start implementing that a lot more. So yes, we had the Iconics defeat Alexa and Nikki. Son of a bitch, I did it again. She heard me that time. There we go. If you guys could hear that, the Alexa turning on again. All right. A few different things before we get to the main event. So Firefly Funhouse has been my favorite every single week. It only got better from here. We see Bray Wyatt. He's gardening now. Kind of like wrapping all of his segments into a nice bow. You see Ramblin' Rabbit. He's back from the dead. He can reincarnate himself however many times. We see Abby the Witch. We see Mercy the Buzzard, all in there, and he's talking about what the fun house is for. It's about following the leader. It's about having fun anytime that you want. It's about being protected. And then we see evil Bray Wyatt come out, and we get this wonderfully produced piece on all of the different segments. And Vince McMahon is also in front of the door, the evil Vince McMahon with the devil horns. We're looking at everything that is encapsulated up to this moment, where it's Bray finally being evil with his horrifying, scary mask, and kind of again, it's wrapping everything up. So I'm thinking he's debuting soon. I don't know when soon could be, but let's just say that there are less episodes to the debut than there have been already, and there has been 8 or 9. I think now Stomping Grounds could be the time. He said fear is power. So that leads me to believe that he will be after the title very, very soon. And let's hope so. Because this is the best writing that Bray and or the writers have done in a long, long time. Let's hope they don't F it up. Anyway, the main event, we had Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan. A good wrestling match. However, Seth did defeat Daniel. But as Bleacher Report put it, the whole episode was centered around Baron Corbin announcing the referee, and they never did. Again. It just... it's stupid. And now, correct me. I'm trying to. I did not watch the main event. I just saw some highlights, trying to find out if he did, in fact, name a referee. I don't see it. If he did, let me know. And that is that. That is Monday Night Raw. As far as the viewership goes, so they from hour 1 to hour 3 last week, they lost a metric shit ton of viewers. So now Raw's average did go up from the Staples Center, 2.2 million viewers, up from 2.1 last week. Still, it's to go home to stomping grounds. It still declined by 0.3 million from hour 1 to hour 3. So hour 1 was at 2.325, and hour 3, 2.078. And even hour 2 held a lot of people, 2.30. Down from that's you're only losing 20,000 people. That isn't that bad. But losing 300,000 viewers from hour 1 to hour 3, they can't continue to do that. It is just mind-boggling why they're letting that go. And I wish they would take a look at it and be serious, because I don't think. I think it's fine that they have 3 hours. Whatever. If we're gonna have to deal with it, we're gonna deal with it together. But at least do something where we need to want to stay. Some days I don't want to watch 3 hours. I'll watch the Hulu cut. I'll watch 90 minutes of Raw, and personally speaking, that's enough for me. But if there's something really interesting happening in hour 3, well, damn it, I'll stay on and I'll watch. They're gonna have to start doing some more enticing storylines for us to be interested in sticking around. So that is Raw. Again, I did not watch SmackDown. I'm not going to watch SmackDown. I don't care enough. They need to make me care. So here's some news. I'm actually going through Brad's Twitter. I have no news myself, but let's go over some of this. The announced yesterday, so the 17th, Monday. Clash of Champions is coming back. First pay-per-view in Charlotte in over 10 years. It'll be on September 15th, Sunday. So Clash of Champions. It's coming back to Charlotte. Tickets are on sale for any of those that want to go on June 21st. And an update to Brad's report. And just so I have all my ducks in a row, tweeted this on Sunday afternoon that per a source in the company, Vince wanted to dabble into WWE money, not his own personal stock, but WWE's cash flow to provide funding for the XFL, leaving some concern internally about how that may impact company finances. And in an update about an hour ago, WWE spokesperson told him that there is no truth to that report. Whether they're lying to us or whether they're not, we have to go with what they say. But it wouldn't surprise me if Vince does move some money around to help fund the XFL. This is his baby, just like the WWE was. He wants to make sure it works. He wants to make sure it succeeds. Do you have to sacrifice money to make money? Of course you do. So that might be where Vince is looking to do it again. I mean, if we just look at the stocks right now, stand by while I do that. They had a very, very big dip in the last couple of years, but today specifically up $1.43 a share at $76.98 a share, and the I believe that the stock market's closed for the day. I believe it is, yes. And looking back a year to date, January 2nd of last year, stand by with me. I have to full screen this guy. So taking a look at it in the last year. So June of last year. Last year was 66, about 66.50 per share. And then it went up very, very well up until October of last year, up to $92 a share, dipped way down to $59. I think that was November, and I think something happened in November, but that was almost a whole low. at that time. And then it gradually went up and down until it reached about, let's see, in April, right near my birthday, $83 a share. $99 a share. And then went all the way back down about beginning of the month at 74, 71, and then now it's up to 76, 98. So they're still making money despite how bad the product has been. But there is definitely a place that Vince can move some money around, and we'll see if that does happen. Some of that information is public knowledge, but not all of it. It depends what the shareholder and stockholders actually say. But sooner rather than later, we could be, and especially if the XFL is going to debut next year, we're going to start finding out how everything's going to be funded. The AAA, the American Alliance of Football, recently was it was here, then it wasn't. It was pretty fast. They had no funding and went bankrupt, and that's it. So we'll see what happens with the XFL moving forward. As far as what we're looking at SmackDown tonight, I don't think the WWE actually. I don't even know why I'm even going to talk about this, because I won't be watching it, and the podcast will be out at normal time on Wednesday morning. So why am I wasting my breath? But I guess we can talk about it in context with what they're promoting for SmackDown this evening, just to take a look and find out where their priorities lie. Because if they want to start promoting some more stuff, and now my laptop's not working. Here we go, pal. That's good shit. Not much is coming out of their Twitter page as far as promotion. Kathy Kelly does her thing. Everything we need to know heading into SmackDown Live, the final stop on the road to Stomping Grounds. Very, very cool. They really don't say much. So if you watch SmackDown tonight, I hope you had a good time. I hope you have fun. Okay, so here we go. Looks like a Xavier Woods and Dolph Ziggler in a match tonight. We'll see if that's any good. And that's all I can see. Given what we are being told about Stomping Grounds, the ticket scenario is a disaster. They can't sell anything. They have hundreds of seats left. So if you're in the area of Stomping Grounds, I don't even know where the hell it is, to be honest with you. It is in Tacoma, Washington. Daniel, if you can gamble at all, Daniel Bryan, who is from Aberdeen, Washington, will be losing his tag team titles. Mark it right now. Anyway, we could at least look at the card. Yeah, the ticketing is awful. They're having a really hard time selling tickets. Let's play shit to giggles here. So I'm gonna go buy Stomping Ground tickets from StubHub.com. Let's say I want. So the lowest price is $34. So if you're in the Washington area and you want to go, feel free. Feel free. They're $34 to go see a pay-per-view. I paid $80 to see the Royal Rumble a few years ago. So if you're if you're looking for something to do on a Sunday night, you can do that. I hope you have fun. I hope you get two whole rows to yourself, because God knows people won't be there. Taking a look at the card for Stomping Grounds, I'll kind of give my predictions here before I wrap up. Universal Championship, Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin. I don't see Baron winning, so at all. I don't see him winning the title one bit. So let's give it to Seth. I think he'll retain and head into a feud and then lose it at SummerSlam. I still believe that we'll see Brock and Roman at SummerSlam for the belt, but jury's still out on that one. WWE Championship match, Kofi and Dolph. Dolph hasn't won a title match since Vietnam, so Kofi will retain. Roman and Drew. So the rumor is at the next pay-per-view, because God knows there's a pay-per-view every 2 weeks, that Roman obviously faced Shane, right? And then he's going to go and face Drew at this pay-per-view on Sunday. So then it'll be Roman and the two knuckleheads in a 1 versus 2 handicap match. And then probably after that, it'll be an 8-way with the Revival, Shane and Drew versus the Usos and whatever. Usos and Roman Reigns. Take Roman Reigns. I don't see him losing 2 pay-per-views in a row, is what I'm saying. Raw Women's title, Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. I really hope they give it to Lacey. I'm not entirely confident in their abilities to do something smart. So give it to Becky. Lacey needs it. Becky, I don't know. Becky's not being entertaining enough. I'd like for Lacey to get the belt. United States Championship, Samoa Joe, Ricochet. Since we literally had Rey Mysterio hand the title to Samoa Joe, there's no way he loses it this early. Give me Samoa Joe and a cheap win. I feel like Ricochet will win it eventually, but not yet. It'll take, because there are no automatic rematches unless there's an automatic rematch. Don't forget that, kids. Logic. The New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The New Day has to win here. I think the big things are coming for Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn can't win a match, so have Sami get pinned. So CBS Sports put together a what matches we could see that have not been announced yet. Finn Balor and Andrade. That makes sense since we saw them fight at the Super Letdown, and which give me Andrade for that. They're not on television. Andrade is dealing with the passing of his mother, so he wasn't on any show last week. But either way, give me Andrade to win that match if that does take place. And the Revival and the Usos. I don't see the Revival losing just yet because of the momentum with the stable they have with Shane McMahon. So if you're gambling at all, put money on the Revival. And if Heavy Machinery does face Daniel and Rowan for the tag team titles, put your money on Heavy Machinery. Unless you're a Saudi Arabian man in a 50-man battle royal, you're not winning in your hometown. So, nuts to people who think Daniel will win. I'm getting my voice is getting strained. Normally I talk about 65% of the time. Knowing I've had to talk the entire time is exhausting. It's exhausting carrying this podcast on my back anyway, much less Brad getting time off to vacation. I hope he's vacationing up Baron Corbin's ass. Not really, that's a little bit harsh. But I hope he's having a good time anyway. As for Dean, finding pancake power is like trying to find the fountain of youth. It's so elusive. It's as elusive as a good show on Monday and Tuesday nights. But I kid, I joke. I hope Dean's having a good time. He's currently in the same state as Brad. Maybe you two can argue about it, not seeing each other while in the same state. Or is Brad hoarding the pancake power on vacation for himself? That's too much to talk about breakfast foods. So I know, I hope they had a good week. I will be off next week. I have to work in Tuesday evening, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week ahead as well, and the weeks to follow. Sorry, text from the girlfriend I couldn't ignore. Ignore that. You can't see. I'm on the radio anyway, sorta. Don't look at me. You can't. I'm hideous. Have a good weeks to come. Again, I will be off next week. Brad will be here. Dean should be here. He's not. He's on a quest to find more syrup. He should be here. Who knows? By next week, it could be Dean's last show. If Baron wins the title, Dean's gone. That ironclad contract has saved him thus far. Who knows what can happen? So if you guys hate Dean, you root for Baron Corbin. Kind of, it's like the better of two evils, you know. You can follow me at John Fisher TV. Brad, give him a follow for all news and whatnot at the Brad Shepard. I'm not going to plug his website because I don't know it, so you can go to him for that. And Dean and I Am Dean 16. He might be I Am Dean needs a new podcast after next week. We'll see you on Sunday. And we are the You Didn't Know Wrestling Show. Find us Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Get at us there. We're in the top. Thanks to everyone. We're in the top 20% of podcasts in the entire world. Viewership-wise. Viewership. Here I fucking go again. Listenership-wise, I think. So thank you very much for all of that. We appreciate y'all very, very much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week to come and the week ahead. Again, have a wonderful. I can't ask Brad what he would say before we ride off into the sunset. So I will say what I think he would tell me. Just go home and get safely there. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time.